We might as well keep it going with SHOT Show Day 2. What's up everyone, back with another episode of Stuff and Things. I don't really need an intro for these videos, you already know what's going on. If you want to check out the last video, you can click the link right up there. You're probably already getting bored and overwhelmed with all of the SHOT Show content that's been put out there already, so I'm just going to burn through these videos kind of quickly. So, SHOT Show Day 2, the first thing that I filmed for some reason were these like underwater bags called lock sacks. They had a bunch of tablets and phone inside of these bags, inside of a fish tank with their cameras on so you could kind of see yourself. They actually gave me a sample, so let's see if this thing works. Protect from your electronics to your weapons. They actually have full-size bags that can hold rifles. Water, humidity, sand, snow. Let's try with my phone. Camera on. Pop this thing in the bag. Now to the sink. I just put a lot of trust in a product that I've only seen one time. Pop the two seals, and we're still rolling. Completely dry on the inside. Right next to that booth was another kind of random, weird like technology booth, and it was technology for suppressors. This company was called Manta Defense. They make these covers that actually slip over all different size suppressors, handguards, pistol grips, pretty much anything for rifles. At their table, they had one of their covers over a curling iron that I assume would have been on all morning. I could pick that thing up no problem at all. There was a little bit of warmth, so you could tell that it was definitely on, but obviously you can't pick up a hot curling iron. Not only is it good for safety of just getting burnt, but it's also good for people in military and law enforcement who want IR thermal reduction. If guys are out in the field and they've been shooting a lot, they don't want their suppressors glowing really hot like most of them do after a couple of rounds. Slip one of the sleeves over and it kind of goes away. Then for some reason I ran all the way up to the Kel-Tec booth. Kel-Tec is obviously known for having really weird, strange type of firearms. So I figured I would go up there and see if they had anything new or just something that I hadn't seen before. The only thing that I filmed there was their P32. The reason this thing kind of stuck out to me is because it weighed 6.6 ounces. It shot 32 ACP, which I never really heard of before. And this gun is 19 millimeters thin, which is insanely thin. I guess this gun would be good for someone with a smaller frame or just as like a last ditch type of gun. It had a clip on the outside of it. If you clip this thing to your belt, you could barely tell it was even there. Then I turned around and went back all the way downstairs to the Vertex booth. Made it all the way down to the booth and I ran into a familiar face that you guys have been asking me to collab with for a long time now.
We're here.
Oh my god, we need to collab. It's Mike.
I was filming like the same thing. There's a certain character here that you guys are always asking me to film with.
What's up, guys? I've been internet friends with Mike from Last Line of Defense for a while now. I'd never really made that known, but that was our first time meeting in person, and then after that we pretty much hung out the entire show. I also ran into another longtime internet friend, Danny, from the Instagram account GunDMC. You guys have probably seen his pictures before, but if not, I will leave a link to his page down below. It's got some firework on there. The next stop on our list was Olight. They had actually sent me out this EDC light right here, the only EDC light I brought with me to Florida. This is the S1 Arbiton 900 lumens, and I owe you a review on this, so you'll see that in a couple days. They had a lot of cool new products out, some that I'm hoping to get my hands on, that way I can do videos on them. And in that lineup were a few new weapon lights. Olight was cool enough to hook me up with some of those to pass them along to QVO Tactical. So if any of you guys are looking to pick up the PL Mini Valkyrie and you want a holster to go along with it, QVO Tactical is the place to go. You can get a discreet, a more discreet, or a wingman, and I'll also leave a discount code for you guys in the description down below. Our next stop was right around the corner at Safe Life Defense. This company makes body armor and plate carriers that's available to pretty much anyone. Some of these guys like Andrew and their owner Nick actually watch my videos, and they're really a great bunch, so here is Nick explaining to you about their concealed vest.
Cool, so this is our standard level 3A plus multi-thread vest, Safe Life Defense. This is rated #1 in comfort among all soft body armor, and that's due to our unique self-structured panels. Most body armor companies nowadays are trying to go as flexible as possible, but we go the opposite route and go for a more rigid feel. That really helps promote airflow. Being out of Las Vegas, that's definitely important in Las Vegas heat. It also eliminates curling at the bottom of the vest for an elongated lifespan. It also provides strike resistance distance for additional protection. This vest on its own defends against handguns, shotguns, strikes, slashes, stabs, and even armor-piercing handgun and shotgun ammunition, making it one of the most protective vests that's on the planet today. All of the parts are interchangeable, so if you have a Safe Life Defense vest, you can put it in any other carrier that we have now or ever will have. All of the accessories also work with one another, so you don't have to buy a new vest every time. You can just get piece by piece.
You've done that a couple times.
I've done it a few times.
Nick's a super good guy, man, very charismatic. He hooked me up with a shirt, a beanie, and I think he's actually even gonna be sending me out a vest of my own soon. What do I need a vest for? I could do some videos and testing on it, but I also love to support friends who support me. Mike actually ended up getting fitted with a vest, and then he wore the thing around pretty much all day. Every other booth we went to, people were kind of looking at us a little bit strange, wondering why he was wearing a vest like that around the convention. I actually got fitted for one too then, and it was actually super comfortable. If and when they do send me a vest, I might be up for a little bit of a challenge.
And one guy, he wore it for 72 hours straight, except for taking a shower. He slept in it, did everything in his vest. After all that time, he said he forgot it was on. Just because he did a YouTube review, and that was his thing.
Are you challenging me right now?
I do. You know what? As a matter of fact, I do challenge you. Let's see if you can beat him.
I think I might be able to do that.
The 72-hour challenge?
I can do that. Moving on and staying relatively in the same area, we came across the Kriss booth. They had a really cool display of all the different calibers of the Gen 2 Vector, but they also had a complete lineup of their Sphinx pistols, which I had never seen before. The price for these things is kind of up there, with the base model coming in at around $900, $950, but what it reminds me of is basically a CZ07 that's completely metal. So in my opinion, the guns look great, they felt really good in the hand, the triggers were nice. It is single double, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I still think that I would buy one of these guns. Cruising around some more, we came to Angstadt Firearms, where they had some sick pistol builds. I really want a 9mm AR pistol now, and Danny took some good shots of this gun, so you can check it out on his Instagram. Right around the corner from that, we came to a booth where my friends were already checking out some of these guns. I wasn't exactly sure what the company did, but they put a gun in my hand. So all I could tell was that it's an all-metal 1911 Salient variant. It felt really good in the hand, and basically my brain started automatically comparing it to the Agent 2 that I had looked at on day one. The slide was already racked and the trigger was ready to pull, so I felt the trigger and it felt pretty normal. It felt good. Then I picked up the next Salient that I saw, which was like the Salient Blue, but it was super light for some reason. I go to pick the gun up and do one of these. I was like, whoa, that was a lot lighter than I was expecting. What's the deal with that? And the guy at the booth was like, well, it's aluminum, duh. And I'm like, wait, well, hold on a second. I walk over to my friends and I'm scoping out this wall. Again, never heard of this company. And I'm like, are all of these airsoft guns? So that was my first experience with Evike. Super impressive stuff. A lot of people in the past have asked me, yo, would you ever do airsoft videos? And when I thought of airsoft, I thought about like the cheap ones that I had back when I was a kid, or I think about the mil sim training type of stuff. Not really interested in doing anything like that. However, I would be interested in getting a hold of these sort of like unicorn type of guns, but in airsoft form, because one, they're gonna be a lot cheaper. Two, they're gonna be very similar to the actual thing, so you can train with them like it's the real gun. And also, it might be something I can do while I'm down here in Florida, because I don't need an FFL to transfer these things. I did make friends with a guy, Ryan, who works for them, so I might be reaching out to him in the future. Moving on, I stopped by a booth called Ballistic Advantage. Basically, they just had some really crazy done up ARs in there. Really nice Cerakote jobs, distress, this and that. They had these multicam patterns that were textured and were actually put on with a hydro dip, so that was pretty neat. I swung by the Polymer 80 booth to check out the Glock 26 frames. Pretty cool little package, and I've been getting a ton of questions about doing an update video on the 19 that I built. The thing is, after the last video I did on it, it just runs. It's like a normal Glock, so I really don't need to do a video update on it. If you put these things together right, they're gonna run, and you shouldn't really run into any issues. I talked to my friend Alex while I was at the booth there, and I'm hoping I can get something new sent out to make a video for you guys. I played with some grenade launchers, because what's SHOT Show without playing with some grenade launchers? These things were pretty neat. I never actually held a functioning one in my life, but the guy at the booth gave us a rundown of how it works, and they're pretty neat. If someone has access to one of those and would allow me to shoot it, hit me up. We then ran into another familiar face, John Patton from the Gun Collective. You guys might know who he is. That was the end of the show for that day, but then we moved on to the night stuff. That night, the crew and I went out to American Shooters, where the whole crew and I were invited to shoot the new company of Statement Firearms' new lineup. You guys may have heard of Browse Blades, a very popular knife manufacturer. Well, now they're breaking out and dipping into the custom Glock market. At the party, they had some food and drinks, but also a wide array of all different types of customized Glocks. We sort of went down the line shooting all of them, picking out what we liked and what we didn't like. A lot of the frames and texturing were different. Most of the triggers were different. A lot of the slide cuts were different on both 19s and 17s, as well as the Cerakote on those slides from Mad Dog Customs. Starting from the bottom up, if I were to take all of the guns there and put the pieces that I liked into one gun, I would probably start with the texturing on this grip. It looks like it would be really aggressive and sandpapery, but I actually preferred that. My hands were kind of clammy at the time. I would also keep the trigger that is on this. One, aesthetically speaking, I think it looks really good, but two, I really dig the flat face, and I think I shot this gun the best out of all of them that were there. The other triggers did have a really cool design and I shot them well. I just prefer this one out of all of them. Moving up to the slide, I would pick this slide. Not only do I like the cuts and the ports on this slide, which make it lighter and more functional, but the Cerakote, done by David of Mad Custom Coating, really set this thing off. I would almost consider sending out my next custom Glock slide to him to have work done. The front serrations wrap around the entire slide. It was cut for an RMR and had a carbon fiber battle plate on it. This had one of those different style triggers. It was more of a hook, still a relatively flat face, and I shot it well. It just wasn't my favorite out of the whole bunch. So myself and the whole crew was there to kind of give our opinions on what we would like to see out of the new company in the future. If anyone from Statement is watching this video, hopefully that helped, and if you want me to shoot these more in the future, you know where to find me. Then after that shoot, we're in Vegas, and Vegas never sleeps, so of course we went out, which I'm still regretting right now because I'm dead tired. Went shopping with the guys for some reason, had some fun, stopped at the bar, grabbed some food. Overall, it was a good time.
Why is this like right here?
You look like the dude from The Hangover.
Ken
Yeah.
Mike.
I don't know what you look like.
Dude, what the fuck?
What's wrong, guys?
You look like a Snapchat
You look like
filter.
Elton John, bro. He looks like Elton John.
You could be Elton John tonight.
I look like a grandma to me.
And that was a wrap on day 2, so if you guys have any questions about anything you saw, leave them in the comments down below. I know all this SHOT Show footage is kind of boring to you because any other gun channel that you're following is posting relatively the same stuff as me. However, day 3 and day 4 were a little bit shorter and I filmed those more like a vlog, so hopefully they'll be a little bit more entertaining to watch. That video will be coming out tomorrow, and that is all for today. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.